Hey guys, welcome to Between Two Dumbbells. So we wanted to talk to you guys about what you're going to experience during your pregnancy, just based off of what we've both gone through. I've got one baby down. She trumps me. She's got 3. But I'm working on it. I got my second one here. But I just wanted to tell you about, what you can expect in first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and then we're going to take you through some breathing and pelvic floor exercises at the end of this that we want you to focus on practicing throughout the entire pregnancy. So first trimester, you guys know I discussed a little bit with the first video. You can pretty much do what you've been doing. You just have to deal with fatigue and nausea and the relaxing going on in your body. So just being aware of that, not overdoing any stretches, and if you feel fatigued, just taking a break, because workouts that I was doing previous to becoming pregnant, have become much more difficult, and even some workouts that I've been able to do that were comparable to my workouts before I was pregnant, really fatigue me much heavier throughout the day. So just really being mindful of it, not overdoing it, and that's why the ACOG says 5 workouts, about 30 minutes. That's what we're working on here to prepare for you. So, do you have anything else about first trimester?
Well, first trimester, is different, varies for everybody.
Right.
So, if you're feeling dehydrated at all, you really want to pay attention to hydration and keeping your body fueled to be able to do your workout. So if you've been sick a lot or haven't been able to eat or drink as much, take that into account before you work out.
Yeah.
And know that you almost need, because your blood volume is going up to support the baby, you actually need more water intake to support that. So almost erring on the side of too much, even though you already have to pee all the time.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. You had to pee all the time, but you're like a camel when it comes to drinking water. But yeah, you're so right. That's a huge point. Making sure you stay super hydrated. And then if you are getting sick, taking that into account before you start those workouts, knowing like what type of nutrition do you actually have in your body before you, try to expend
do anything else.
Yeah. Second trimester, which we're going to be getting into in the next couple of weeks, is when you're really starting to see a lot more changes in your body. And Jenna has an amazing poster that she's going to be pulling out here in just a bit to show us exactly what that looks like and what's going to be going on.
Such a great visual.
Yes, if you didn't know your body, you're going to know it.
That's a pet peeve of mine. All women should know their bodies before they have a baby. So this will help you know what's down there. And
that's so true, because you want to know what's going on. I mean, for me, I want to know all of it, but especially in your postnatal, which Gemma is going to be doing a whole series on postnatal for you guys, which is going to be really, really fantastic. But knowing what's going on in your body is, it's so huge during pregnancy. I think it's even bigger in post. So, but yeah, second trimester, we're starting to get bigger. That's why we're going to be incorporating the big stability ball for you guys. We highly recommend, if you don't get it with a props package, that you do get one at some point, because it's so great for keeping everything nice and loose in your hips, where everything starts to get a lot tighter as your belly starts to expand. And it supports you to do your ab work. You can do all kinds of good stretches and core work and have that support without having to, strain anything.
Be able to really dig into those muscles and know what you're working without worrying about hurting yourself.
Yeah,
putting your baby, at risk, or feeling like you're putting your baby at risk. Just release yourself.
That's right. All those stresses that you're constantly feeling. Yeah, as well. So second trimester, you will start to see, more modifications. All of our core work will, primarily be done on all fours, and our back work. And that is like what you really can take into your third trimester, because third trimester is when the real party starts. For me, it's first trimester, but third trimester as well. Then you have all the weight, really pressing down on your pelvis, and it can be really uncomfortable. And that ball will really, really help you. And all of the core work that we're gonna do is all about protecting your back and helping you make it successfully to that third trimester, so that you can go into delivery with a nice, strong abdominal engagement to help you with delivery and post.
Yes, I also say that the emphasis in third trimester is, opening the hips, allowing things to open up so that your baby can eventually drop down when he or she needs to keep yourself limber enough, because of all the muscle tightness you get from carrying such a load in the front of your pelvis,
Yeah.
Keeping yourself limber enough to feel comfortable during delivery and to get in different positions to be able to deliver the baby. So that's the goal, preparing for baby arrival. Yeah. That's like an Olympic sport.
Yeah. Delivery, that one, we're not going to go there,
No.
but we're going to get you ready for that day, okay?
That's right.
Yeah. And then on that day,
who knows what's going to happen?
whatever happens on birth is going to be the most beautiful thing ever, and it's going to be special and unique to you, and we never know what's going to happen on that day. So just feeling prepared in your body, knowing what's going on, I mean, that's the best gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like for me last time. So
I agree.
all right, grab your poster so we can show you what's going to be going on in the bulkhead.
It's a very large poster.
I'll hold it so you can.
Of your pelvic floor. All right, so we are looking at the, yes, that's all right.
All right.
So this is different layers that you're looking directly at your bottom here with the legs apart. So we are looking upwards. This is different layers of your pelvic floor. We're just going to focus on this giant drawing here right in the middle. The main takeaway that I want you to have for this is that your pelvis, down in the bottom of your pelvis, you have a sling of muscles. So really, there's no bony support here. When the baby starts really pressing down, it's working on this sling of muscles. So no wonder why you feel all sorts of sensations, and no wonder why this is such an important part of preparing to have a baby, of recovering after having a baby. Women's pelvic floor health has become a lot more discussed in recent years, thank goodness. But the exercises that we're going to do, we're going to directly correlate to the breathing patterns for the pelvic floor to keep it strong and healthy, but to also be able to relax it when you need to. So here, you have your urethra. So, we've got all the different parts. You've got your urethra, and then you've got your vaginal opening where the baby comes out. And then your bony landmark down here, your coccyx, your tailbone. So all of that, we need to address that sling of muscles to be able to keep you healthy during your pregnancy and also to prevent issues afterwards. So
yes,
we'll go over all of our exercises and breathing, but I do want you to have this picture in your mind of what your pelvic floor looks like. And then, go from there, because visuals are super important when you're visualizing how to breathe and how to exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people don't even know that they have that many muscles down there. It
It's
is
a
a
lot.
beautiful blanket of muscles.
Tons and tons.
Tons.
Yep. And, over time when you're pregnant, you're really focusing on, holding everything in down there, so things become very tight and constricted. So we really want to work on being in touch with those muscles, knowing how to relax and how to contract those muscles so that you can optimize your workouts and your life.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to those exercises. Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm going to take Jenna through, let's move these for a second, a breathing exercise that you're going to want to focus on throughout your entire pregnancy and afterwards. And Jenna will really address changes that will happen in your body in post and how your breathing will change. So oftentimes we breathe into our chest, and we have a really shallow breath. And so we want to focus on a full 3D breath, which those of you that have taken Pilates with me have heard me discuss over and over. We really want to feel the rib cage expand laterally, giving space for that diaphragm to drop down and open up so that you can get the maximum amount of air in and the maximum amount of air out to detoxify the body. And it helps us with our mental clarity and feeling great. So you want to focus on feeling this, especially during your first trimester, because it's going to get harder and harder as you progress in your pregnancy, because you're going to have less and less space. So that diaphragm doesn't have very much space to drop down. So it's really great to fully feel that while you can, and then, try to get as much of it as you can throughout your pregnancy, okay? So taking your hands and then just bringing them right here to the sides of the rib cage. I'm gonna have Jenna breathe in for 4 counts, okay? She's just gonna inhale in through her nose. Good, holding it at the top for 4, and then giving me a nice big long exhale. Yes, that's great. So you can see my hands here as they're coming in as her rib cage comes together. All right, so we're gonna do it 2 more times. Big inhale in. See my hands expanding as her rib cage really open laterally, and then good, nice long exhale. Yes, and you can see it, everything's closing in. So we're working with our breathing, but this is also a huge focus on our transversus abdominis, which is what is holding your baby in, okay? Good. Nice bit, yes, totally detoxifying the body. So, your transversus abdominis goes from your back and wraps all the way around the front. So when you're doing this breathing, it's really fantastic because you're able to really open everything up, which is what happens as you grow in your pregnancy. Your abdominals start to open up, and then, as you breathe out, you bring those fibers together in a safe manner while you're hugging the baby, and you're continuing to strengthen the core, which will really help you in delivery.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, you have anything to
Oh,
add to
no,
that?
I think the visual of hugging your baby is the biggest thing as you get bigger. That's the biggest thing you can visualize to help you really get that deep abdominal engagement. So, you can actually watch yourself in a mirror. If you're in profile, you can see your belly hug your baby and get smaller. And then when you fully exhale, you hug that baby, and then you inhale, let everything come out, so you can really watch yourself expand and contract.
Yeah, it's crazy. You really can. You can see it because it's so tight in there. We've been working out and everything feels good. All right, let's do one more big breath. So remembering, big inhale, dropping down into the nose, expanding laterally into the rib cage. Good, opening the diaphragm, and then exhaling everything hugging that baby. Jenna does not have a baby. She has nice flat abs.
My imaginary baby, my food baby.
Yeah, that's what I have right now too.
The other thing I would say is if you cannot connect to your breath sitting up, to do it laying flat with your feet on the floor, to really feel your rib cage expand into the mat. That also helps. If you don't feel like you can feel it on the sides, you can feel your rib cage open against the mat.
The tactile feedback at the base of the mat. That's great. Great suggestion. And so that's the breathing we really want you to focus on all throughout. I mean, there are no stages where you do not want to use that type of breathing.
No, and even after you have a baby. The other part of that breathing is your pelvic floor when you breathe.
Yeah, that's where we're going next.
So you just want to make sure that when you inhale, that you relax that pelvic floor. So that group of muscles, if you're sitting down and you're inhaling, you want to feel like it's getting heavier on the floor, that part of your body. Because when you breathe in, you're increasing the cavity pressure in the abdominal cavity. So you're increasing the pressure. Now, if you keep that pelvic floor tight and you increase that pressure down on that pelvic floor, it's actually giving your muscles more stress than they need. So you want to keep in mind that when you inhale, you relax that set of muscles, and when you exhale, you can contract them or feel like you're stopping the flow of urine. And don't be concerned with being perfect with this, because nobody is. I think people get stressed out when we start to mention a correct pattern of breathing, but it's something to practice along the way.
Yeah, and she just gave a great cue. A lot of people are like, okay, that's great, but I don't know how to activate or feel or connect to my pelvic floor, because in some ways it's like this hidden blanket of muscles, but once you start to really connect to them and you engage them, it's really a very empowering feeling, because you now know what we're talking about and all the ways in which you can help continue, to aid yourself in your practice, especially working, the transversus abdominis, which is what we're working during pregnancy and then post. So when you're breathing into your pelvic floor, okay, so into your rib cage laterally, letting your diaphragm drop down, you're releasing your pelvic floor. So that sensation, that great cue that Jenna just gave, that you're about to pee, okay? So you're releasing it down, you're about to pee, pee. Yeah, just don't pee. During pregnancy, there's definitely a chance.
Even after.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna work on that though.
And if you do pee,
It's really okay.
Then yeah, hey, all for figuring out where your pelvic floor is, and that's worth it, right? So then right as you have, taken in the maximum amount of oxygen, you've expanded as much as you can, you've really released that pelvic floor, that sensation you get right before you pee. Now, as you exhale out, you're going to contract that pelvic floor. So you think, well, what is that? A lot of you guys have probably done a Kegel before. A Kegel is tightening up the pelvic floor muscles, contracting them. If you are familiar with that, you can use that cue. If you don't know what that is, you can actually think of an elevator from your pubic bone to your belly button, and you want to bring that elevator up to about, the halfway mark or a little above, okay? So I really love that cue. It really helps me. So,
Yes.
You think about like the very base here at the bottom of your mat, that's where your elevator is. It's on the bottom
It's your
floor.
bottom floor elevator.
Yeah, exactly. Bottom floor elevator right there on your mat. And then as you exhale, you really pull that elevator up. Or, again, that great cue you gave, the sensation of restricting your pee. You got to pee really bad. Of course you do. You're pregnant, but you can't go. So that's what we do when we restrict our pee, is we contract our pelvic floor muscles. So in practicing the release of the pelvic floor and the contracting of it, that is a great exercise to use those cues. I like what you addressed. You want to make sure that as you progress during your pregnancy, you don't walk around keeping everything restricted and contracted, because like you just said, that can really put extra stress on that. And we want the polar opposite of that, preparing for birth.
And they've done some research that shows that a lot of people who suffer from incontinence after pregnancy, it's actually, they don't know how to relax their pelvic floor. So because, let's think about, you walked around all day in a bicep curl, right? Your muscle, your bicep, by the end of the day, if you walked around with it, holding a jug of water all day, your muscle would be so fatigued, it would just fall.
Right.
So that is what happens with your pelvic floor when you walk around holding it really tight all the time. Well, you're going to probably leak some urine, because you're going to lose that control over the pelvic floor because that muscle has stayed so contracted. So you do want to give it a chance to release over time.
Yes. So all about the breathing. So remembering that big lateral 3D breath and releasing the pelvic floor as you inhale and contracting it as you exhale. So take some time in the morning and in the evening if you're not used to doing this breathing, and just breathe, because it makes such a big difference. And
you can do it anytime.
You can do it anytime.
It's free.
And your fitness before and after, it is, this is stuff that you're going to continue to practice. The pelvic floor engagement, the activation of your transversus, that's how you help get your body back very quickly.
It also helps your nervous system to go back into that restful state. So you have your sympathetic nervous system that keeps you in a very, worried state, which we can all be in very easily these days, humming around.
Yeah, exactly.
But you want to be sure that you can let your nervous system drop into that maintenance phase where your body repairs and recovers. So your parasympathetic nervous system activates when you deep belly breathe. So that's another reason to keep your breathing going even after. So I might need it even more now, since my kids are not babies anymore. I do practice this often, and it's something you can always come back to. And Celeste is fabulous at cueing those breathing, how to breathe during your exercises. So definitely pay attention to that when you are watching your prenatal videos, and I will do my very best in the postnatal videos to address that as well.
Yes, awesome work. Well, we hope you guys learned a lot and you enjoy your breathing, calms you down, keeps you in a wonderful Zen meditative state. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your prenatal and postnatal series.
Bye.
Bye-bye.